Hi guys, nice to see you all here today. Um, so I am a yoga teacher and health and wellness advocate, and I am just switching to gallery view so it's not my face that I see, all of you. And I've been using essential oils for a number of years, and I use them in my yoga practices and my classes and in my life to help facilitate the work that I'm doing in my classes and the personal work that I'm doing at home as well. So today what I'm going to talk about, as Adam said, it's a little bit difficult to talk about smell online, but I'll give you some tools and tips that you can use on your own at home. We're going to talk about what essential oils are, where they come from, how they're distilled, why and how they have an emotional impact, and some of the properties of essential oils, specific essential oils. I've chosen 6. Hopefully we'll get through all of them today. And I'll talk a little bit about them and how you can use those 6 particular ones. The ones that I've chosen today are ones that are especially good for connection, so either to yourself or to others, and they have different emotional properties as well. So we'll talk about those in a minute. So essential oils are found in the different parts of plants. So in the stems, in the flowers, in the skin of the fruit of the plants, in the roots, in the bark. There's a whole host of areas where you can distill the oil from. And the oils protect plants from environmental threats, and they provide beneficial properties to the plant.
And just warming up our toes, our legs, getting a little bit of balance into it.
Yeah. Sorry guys, what's going on? It's all good. Essential oils are highly concentrated because they're distilled from the plant. So when you take out the oil, you're really getting the pure essence of that plant. So it's like a very concentrated part of the benefits of the plant. And historically, essential oils have been used for food preparation, for beauty treatments, for healthcare practices. And when the oils are very pure, you can also use them for emotional support as well. I've been working with oils for a number of years, as I said, and until I found a brand that was actually very, very pure and tested like 7 different ways to ensure that there were no adulterants or chemical components added into it. It is like pure plant. I had never had an emotional reaction with oils before. And since having found the oils that I use, I find it really interesting to see, because I'm still really skeptical that they work. I'm like, well, this can't really help. But every time I'm going through something, I use specific oils to help me with that thing, and something shifts inside. And as I said, I'm still really skeptical, but the science is there. I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to go in too deeply to it. But because plants are carbon-based, like humans are carbon-based, our body actually recognizes the oil as a substance that it can integrate. So it's able to pass through the cell walls of our body and work at a really deep cellular level, which synthetic medicines cannot get that deep. And so they can have a really profound impact on ourselves and on our bodies and all of the other bits. In order to...
Look. Lauren, sorry to interrupt. Your sound
okay.
is going a bit weird. I don't know if you just move slightly, that might sort it out. I'm not an IT expert, so I don't really know. But...
Yeah, me either. I know. I've just had a notification saying my speaker's not working.
Fine now. You sound good now.
Okay now. All right, fine.
Lauren, I'll do this if it sounds bad.
Okay, sounds good. We'll see if we can get on with it that way.
For the record, just the sound. The words are great. That's just referring to the sound.
I know. It's all good. So in order to retain the therapeutic properties of the plant, the oils have to be distilled in a specific way, which differs from plant to plant. So each plant has a specific temperature. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to try one thing.
Yeah, sorry, that must be quite horrible to look at the screen and everyone's giving a down thumb. So that's just referring to the sound, to the record, just the sound, people. The words are beautiful.
Let me try. I've got a microphone. Let's see if that's better.
We're getting professional, people. The Great Connection Festival, no expense spared. We have microphones and everything. Right, can't hear you at all now, though.
so that I can see.
There. No, can't hear you at all. You're on mute now, though.
Let's see.
That's it. Yeah, perfect. We can hear you.
Mm.
You good, Lauren? You good?
Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna go.
Lauren, you good?
Onto the phone instead and see if that works better.
Lauren, you good? I don't know.
Give me one moment.
Lauren, it's fine.
Bear
it's
with
good.
me here.
Why can't you hear me? I'm not muted. Lauren, it's good.
Sorry, guys.
Good.
It's okay now. Okay, well, we'll try it. I'll leave the phone on standby just in case.
Yeah, I don't know why you can't hear me, but anyway.
When my mic is in.
Go.
Now it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's my wind.
No,
There's a lot of wind around.
You could go.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so the way that oils work emotionally is because the limbic system of the brain is next to the olfactory system of the body, our sense of smell. So when we inhale something, when we smell, it has a direct smell working in. Okay, I'm switching to the phone. Let's see if this works. I'm going to log off on this one and try it on the phone.
Yeah, no problem. So just to ad lib, I have not prepared anything for this moment, which I should have done. Yeah, I realize. Wow.
Hold on. Let's just find it.
Right, she's on a... You just need to unmute yourself. Hang on.
Is that better now?
That is banging.
Okay, well, this is the beauty of technology. We have several different modes. Okay, so let's try this instead. So in our body, the limbic system, which is our emotional center, is right next to the olfactory system, our sense of smell. So when we smell something, it can create a very strong emotional reaction because of the proximity to the emotional center of our body. So I'm sure you've all had the experience where you like smell a perfume and it takes you back to that ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend or whatever, and you're like, whoa, and you get a very strong reaction because that sense of smell is associated with something from your past. It's one of those things that can take us back so quickly or create a reaction so quickly through memory. So I'm going to go through a few different oils, and I'll tell you the emotional properties of the oils and how you can use them to support yourself in whatever work that you're doing, whether that's just because you enjoy the smell or whether that's because you are working through some specific emotional issue, or if you just want to like sort of shift your mood from one thing to another. So I'm going to start with lavender, and unfortunately, normally what I do when I do these kind of talks is I pass the bottle around, but you'll have to just assume that we're having fun, and you can pretend to be smelling it, but you can get some information anyway, and then go out and use the oils yourself. So lavender is the oil of communication, and it helps people who are hiding within and blocking their forms of true expression. So our outward expression, if we're in need of lavender, is not connected to our heart or our soul. It might be sort of surface level communication. And lavender helps in releasing tension and the constriction that stems from fear of expressing our true self. So it encourages emotional honesty, allowing us to share our true selves with others. It also helps to reduce anxious feelings. Lavender is one of the most common oils. I think it's probably one of the first oils that people buy when they are getting into essential oils. And so it's a really nice one to start with because it helps to facilitate that expression, but also it can be really gentle and soft as well. The next oil that I wanted to talk about is peppermint. Peppermint is the oil of a buoyant heart. So it helps to bring joy and buoyancy to our heart and soul. So peppermint is a really useful oil if you're doing any kind of like deep, intense, heavy like therapy or shadow work or anything where you're diving deep into some difficult emotions and you need a little bit of respite. Peppermint helps to lift us out of the darkness and into the light, and give us that little bit of respite so that then we can go back down into the darkness and deal with whatever it is that we need to deal with that's down there. You have to be careful with peppermint because you don't want to stay up always in that high bit. People can get a little bit addicted to that sort of lift and then never go back down and actually do the work that they're needing to do. The next oil is ylang ylang, and ylang ylang is the oil of the inner child. Ylang ylang is it's a flower, and it's quite sweet, almost a little bit fruity, I would say. Some people really love it, some people hate it. I didn't used to like it, and then now I've sort of grown into enjoying it. But it's a really powerful remedy for the heart. So it helps us reconnect with our inner child and the pure simplicity of that childlike innocence. It encourages play, restores a childlike nature, and it's a powerful remedy for helping to release emotional trauma from the past. I'm just seeing some chats. Hold on one second. Lavender. Yeah, lavender spelled L-A-V-A-N-D-E-R, for those of you wondering. So that's ylang ylang. The next one that we're going to talk about, oh, the one that I mentioned now, ylang ylang, sorry. Y-L-A-N-G, Y-L-A-N-G, ylang ylang. I'll see if I can put it up. You might be able to see it there. It's a really beautiful floral smell. What's really interesting, I find, when you're smelling the oils, if you have a really strong emotional reaction to the oils one way or another, it's like whether you love them or you hate them, that's usually a sign that there's something about that oil that probably you need to work with. And so it's really interesting. Some of the oils, when I first started working with them, I actually wanted to throw up when I smelled them. And the next one that we're going to talk about is one of those, which is quite an interesting thing, which is geranium. And so geranium was an oil that I think probably I needed to use to connect more into my heart, because geranium is the oil of love and trust. And as I started to do work that allowed my heart to be more open and to feel a little bit more, then geranium actually was an oil that I really started to love. And now I probably am a little bit obsessed with it. So it's interesting how our sense of smell can shift over time based on some of the emotional work or physical work that we're doing. So geranium can help us to restore confidence in the innate goodness of others and in the world. It facilitates trust, especially when trust has been broken. So I will point out with all of these oils that they won't do the work for you. So it's not like you can just put on a bit of geranium oil and then like be lovey and trusty. You actually have to probably do the deep work yourself through whatever form you're doing, whether that's like journaling or with a therapist or anything like that. But it can help to facilitate the ease of that journey. So it can help support you on the way. Geranium also encourages emotional honesty, love, and forgiveness, and it fosters receptivity to human love and connection. It can also help in healing a broken heart. So geranium is a beautiful oil for any kind of connection and relationships. The next oil that I'm going to talk about is wild orange oil. Got that here. It is the oil of abundance. It inspires creativity, supports a positive mood, restores physical energy, and aids in transitions. And it helps us to let go of scarcity mindsets, including fear, nervousness, inflexibility, a lack of humor, and the belief that there is not enough. And I thought that was a really nice one for connection, because when we start to understand that there is actually more than enough in the world, then we are able to be more compassionate towards each other and towards ourselves as well. The last oil that I'm going to talk about today, before I have time for some questions, is marjoram, which is the oil of connection. And so this is maybe a smell that you might be familiar with from, I'm just trying to see if you can see it here, from the kitchen. It's a common spice that's used in the kitchen, but it's also can be distilled as an essential oil. And marjoram helps those who are unable to trust others or form meaningful relationships. And that trust or lack of trust usually stems from harsh life experiences. So marjoram shows us the barriers that we've formed to protect ourselves from other people. and it can reveal patterns of aloofness or distancing or being cold towards others. So it helps us to restore trust and openness so that the true bonds of love may be formed in friendships and relationships, which the reason I finished with that one is because we are here connecting and connecting with each other and with the greater world beyond via technology. So I thought that was a nice one to finish with, just so that we can feel a little bit more connected. And I would love to pass it around so that all of you could smell it and feel the connection that it inspires. But you'll just have to create that connection in a different way, I think. I noticed there was a couple of chats, so let's just see what people asked. Yeah, in a mist. So someone's asking, I use them sometimes in a mist apparatus. Is that good? Yes. So there's a few ways that you can use essential oils. You can use them aromatically, so in the air. So either like in a diffuser or like in a spray bottle mixed with water, and you can just spray it around. You can, a lot of oils you can use topically. So just be careful if you have sensitive skin. You might want to dilute them with another, like with a carrier oil, like almond oil or jojoba oil or fractionated coconut oil. And you can also, some oils, so some brands of oils, I'll say this as well because you want to make sure that they're very pure. Some brands of oils you can actually ingest as well because they are so pure, they don't have any other chemicals or dilutants. It's a controversial opinion, but I've been ingesting this particular brand for quite some time and it's amazing. So if I run out of marjoram in my kitchen, I can just put a little bit of marjoram oil in whatever I'm making, and it does the same thing. So lots of information. We have a couple of minutes left. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself. Because I'm on my phone, I can't quite see everybody, but please feel free to unmute yourself and ask away, or you can put it in the chat and I'll be able to see there. If you're wondering, the brand that I use is doTERRA, and the reason I use it is just because it's really pure. As I said, they're tested independently tested 7 different times to make sure there's nothing else included. And for me, it's the only brand that I've had an actual emotional experience with in terms of any of the other brands that I've used. And that's why I keep going back to it and keep using it. If you're interested in getting it as well, don't buy them on Amazon. Sometimes people put them, like they'll take an old doTERRA bottle and put a whole bunch of crap inside it and then mix it and then put a brand new lid on it. And then you think you're getting the pure stuff, but you're not.
So which brand it is, please, Lauren? I didn't catch the name of the brand.
Yeah, I use doTERRA.
Essential oil.
It's doTERRA oil. So it's an American brand. And
right, okay.
They're really, I mean, I could talk for quite a while about all of the benefits of the brand, just in terms of quality of what's in the bottle, but they're also a really nice brand in terms of what they do out in the world, in terms of paying their suppliers fairly and making sure that the oils that they're harvesting are sustainable and all that kind of stuff. So you pay a little bit more for them depending on what the oil is, but that ensures that their workers get paid fairly and and all of the rest of it as well. So.
Lauren, could you type the name in the chat? So just for the spelling of it, that would be great.
Maybe.
And also, oh, right, sorry, your phone, of course. Well, maybe afterwards. If not, you can get in contact, or if you go onto the channel's page, you can get into contact with Lauren, certainly on Instagram.
Okay.
Just while there's like about a minute left, Lauren. So if you were just as a starter kit, what would you recommend? Like the first couple of oils, I suppose, to play with, or how would you pick an oil or two?
Yeah. So I would say it depends. So there's a few different things that you could look at. It depends on maybe what you're working with emotionally, first of all. I would say the 3 most popular oils that are a really good place to start are lavender, lemon, and peppermint. So lavender is really calming, peppermint is really uplifting and fresh, and lemon is kind of obviously like fruity and clean and again uplifting, and they're actually really nice together as well. So you can kind of make a few different blends from that.
Round of applause to everybody.
Vulnerability is a muscle. The more you use it, the more you practice it, the easier it becomes.